I am Kimbo. I am a girl and a glue gun. I am going to teach you guys how to do fun pieces of work, and you're going to be using vinyl as a stencil. So like this is my no soliciting sign. I know it's backwards, and so I used vinyl as a stencil for this. So there are a few reasons that I use vinyl as a stencil. Number one, is if I don't have the color. So I'm like a midnight crafter, like my post is due the next day, and if I don't have an exact color I need, then I always have a lot of paint. So I will use vinyl as a stencil if I don't have the exact color. Expressions vinyl has a ton of colors, so it's not even the fact that they don't have the color I need, it's more the fact that I just didn't plan ahead and I don't have the color on hand. Or if you're trying to color match, like my daughter has really bright colors and I bought paint in all the colors, you know, and all the frames are painted. So if I was trying to color match, that's a great, you can use the vinyl as a stencil for that. Second reason, is curved surfaces. So here I did this bloom, it was vinyl, and then I taped it off, and then I painted all of this, and then I weeded out the bloom. So if you were going to put vinyl on this, there would be so many wrinkles and curves because it's a curved surface, so it would just not lay flat. So that's another reason to use vinyl as a stencil. And then the third reason that I use vinyl as a stencil is because I want the distressed look. So if you look really close at this, I like that you sand it and then you get that distressed look. Here is another example. I did this beware sign, and I really did not want, it is huge. It is taller than me. So I didn't want it to be cute and nice and crisp because it's beware, it's for Halloween. So I just sanded that a lot. And then I wanted to show you guys my laundry room sign. This is, I think, what started, someone requested this. So it says laundry sucks, because it does. And then if you look closely, I wanted the distressed look for that as well. So that is the reasons that I use vinyl: distressed look, curved surfaces, or I don't have the right color of vinyl. Because I really do like vinyl, and so if you're using vinyl as a stencil, it's a whole other step to use it because you're applying it and then you have to paint and then you have to fill it up. And so I just prefer vinyl, except for those reasons. I also wanted to show you guys this cute sign. My daughter write, this is her first sentence that she learned to write, I love you so. She always writes so much. So she, stencil paint, for those who are just sending it to make it look like that. Vinyl stencil, we haven't gotten into it yet, so I'll let you know. So she writes this is her first sentence that she learned, and so I wanted to make a cute frame, and then that's her signature. I know it's backwards, guys, I'm sorry. So I actually had her use vinyl as a stencil for this because she painted it and she wanted to make it for Mother's Day. And so it was kind of just something that she wanted to do. So I didn't even sand this, but if you look, it looks the same as vinyl because I did sand it. Okay, so we have vinyl. So I use Expressions vinyl. I'll link to it. They've got lots of colors. Not that color matters at all, and that's what's nice about it is before I start, I just kind of go through my vinyl stash and I pick a color that I'm like, I probably won't ever use this. So today we're using a tan and then this red. And they're both pretty colors, but I'm just a bright person. Like I use my neons and I use my turquoise and stuff. And so I love the bright candy red and not so much this dark red. And so that's why I picked these colors. Okay, so we're making some Halloween signs. Well, we're making one Halloween sign and one other thing. So I'm going to flip you around. And okay, so I've prepped my boards. There is a black board and then there is a white board. And they're going to look the exact same. They're both going to have like that, black with white lettering. Look, I'll show you guys this frame now that it's not backwards. You can see how cute it is. I love you so much. Isn't that sweet? I love that. So I took my design. I ran it through my Silhouette Cameo, which you can buy on Amazon or at Expressions or at Silhouette. That's what I like. I like because I can trace like this is my daughter's handwriting traced. So I love that I can trace, and then you can use all your fonts with it. And so I ran these pieces of vinyl through, and then there's 2 ways to do it. So I wanted to show you. The first way, we're going to do white, and I'm going to weed. Where's my weeding tool? Right here. I'm using a Caesar weeding tool. It's like a little hook, like a dental hook is kind of what it reminds me of. And so I just posted a video on how to use vinyl. So if you guys need a refresher course, there's a little piece of fur right there. If you guys need a refresher course, just scroll back and look at the video, and then I've also uploaded it to YouTube. So I'm going to weed away the vinyl. This is my Halloween sign. So this one, I'm going to be painting everything but the letters. So it's going to go on this white board, and then I'm going to cover the whole board in black, and then I'm going to fill up each letter, and that's going to reveal white letters. So, if you remember from my video on last Thursday, we're going to be using transfer tape. So instead of having to peel and stick each of these letters on this board, we're going to cover it with transfer tape and transfer it over in one big transfer. So this is it. It's all set. And so I like using vinyl because it's got such a good adhesion that paint really doesn't creep under there. I said creep because I just saw that creeping word. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this with black, and then if it needs 2 coats, I'm going to do it again. And then as soon as that second coat's on, I'm going to pill up each letter. You'll want to do that when it's wet, because if it dries and you start pilling up, it'll peel some of the paint. It's the same kind of process as if you're using frog tape on walls and you're doing stripes or anything like that. That's gonna, if you pill up the frog tape or the paint around your baseboards, when the paint's dry, it's gonna pill up some of your paint. So it's the same kind of concept. So you're gonna want to weed this up when the paint is still wet. So I want to show you. I don't want to do that and then have to pill it up right away because it makes a huge mess. But this is my second project, and it's going to look the exact same, but this time, this one's huge, and it helps if it's not upside down. This time, we weeded out the inside of the letters, and we're going to adhere the outside. So this one, we're painting the outside, and the white's going to be underneath the letters. And this side, we're painting the inside, and the white's going to be the letters. It's going to be the same. So whatever you are weeding out is what's going to be covered with paint. So this is what's going to be covered. So it's this huge sheet, and if you can tell, I totally have a bubble in my transfer tape. I put it on horrible. It's fine. It'll still work. All right, so my exclamation point's running off, and that's kind of how I planned it. I always, when I'm designing in my Silhouette Studio software, I measure the board, and then I put the exact measurements in my Silhouette. Like I make a box in my Silhouette, and I make the exact measurements. So when I design it, it's to the exact size, and I love that. She wants to know what kind of board it is. It is actually just a cheap. This one's old, so I'm not even sure on this one. And this is just called a common board. They come in, like I buy 6 feet, and this one I think is 6 inches, 8 inches. I have a ruler over there. I'm not quite sure though. And so they're the cheapest of the wood. And Home Depot actually can cut wood for you. So you could take this in there and know what you're mass producing and have them slice everything up there for you. And so that's really nice. Okay. So when you're ready to paint, this one's going to be white. Remember, they're going to look the exact same. And when you're painting, you're not going to want to go like this because it's going to push paint underneath. You're going to kind of want to just dab it on. And before you start, even though I already started, I go around and I just make sure that there's no, like it's all stuck on there pretty good, especially around those bubbles. You know, you just want to smooth that out. So I don't seal it or anything because I kind of feel like if paint gets underneath, that's kind of the distressed look, right? So I'm going outside, like I'm starting here and I'm pushing it out so it doesn't push it under. And then it doesn't matter if you're in the middle. So this one will obviously need 2 coats. To weed out all these letters, I actually prefer it this way because you're peeling off one big sheet and then you just have to peel off these little tiny in-betweens. But this one you have to peel each and every letter. You're going to take your weeding tool, and this is why the weeding tool comes in super handy. If you don't have a weeding tool, get a straight pin or something that you can dig in under there, because you don't want to score your or ruin your board or your vinyl. And you're just going to peel up each letter. So you can see it bled a little bit, but if you notice the font I picked, it's very, I don't know how much of this is font and how much of this, see that one is actually, it looks like it bled, but it is the font. Can you see there's a notch right there in the font? So this is maybe not a good example because the font is so distressed. Normally it's a lot crisper. Let's check out this A. So you're going to want to be careful because you get paint on your hands when you're peeling it up, and then if you touch the board, guess what? You're going to get paint on those letters. Same with your hook. Your hook is going to start getting paint on it, so you want to keep a paper towel nearby and just wipe it off. I'm on a painter's tarp because I don't trust myself to paint in my living room without it. I own every pair of clothes that I own has paint on it. See, that arm was pretty. So look how fun that's going to be when you get it all peeled up and sand it. It's going to look really awesome. And then backwards technique, and it's going to look the same. So I have a piece of sandpaper, and then I go over it and I will sand it. And so you'll want to make sure that it's totally dry. So you're going to weed it up, and you're going to wait for it to completely dry, and then you'll sand it. And I always sand the edges really well. And then I just go through and distress it so it just looks worn. Let me know if you have any questions. It's actually, guys, I know this looks really hard, and it's not hard. It's just a little bit longer because you're waiting for paint to dry, which sucks. That's why